Hi, good evening, Marcia. Thank you for having me here again. Good evening to Barbados and the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, so it's a real pleasure to have you here tonight because we are here. You were with us for a short bit last week Wednesday, and you're
Yes,
back here again.
very interesting indeed. I was here for a little bit last week with the announcer, talking
With
about the announcer, talking about the song, and we're back here again tonight, just a week later.
yes, 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 yes. Yeah, literally a week later. Now,
Mhm.
what is the um what is the position of Baka on this move that Starcom has made? Because we have not heard the song played on Starcom. What is the position of Baka on this move by Starcom, and explain to us why you've taken whatever the position you've taken.
Sure. So I would have spoken to Ronnie yesterday evening
You
when
mean
he
to the announcer?
to the announcer.
Yeah.
When he made me aware that the song was being prohibited on all of the Starcom stations. Um, so we had a quite lengthy conversation. I wanted to, and nothing different to what I do with any other situation, any other artist. You know what is here on the surface, but I like to get a full picture so that when we are representing an artist, that we don't get blindsided by something that we didn't hear up front. So we had quite a good, and the announcer is very articulate as well, so he knows how to communicate exactly how he feels, exactly what is happening. As a result of that, I would have communicated with our executive. I would have suggested a plan of action. And the first plan of action that was agreed upon was to formally write the station manager, Mr. Anthony Green, station manager of Starcom Network Inc., um, for several reasons. One, because this song has now been vetted by three lawyers. The song was firstly vetted by the announcer's lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, it was vetted by Shining Stars Calypso legal counsel. And then thirdly, the song was vetted by Baka's legal counsel as well. All three sets of lawyers said there's nothing libelous about the song. There's nothing defamatory about the song. Usually, these are the two things that would cause a song to be banned on the radio or to be prohibited from being played on the stations. So this song has does not fit into those categories. So one of the questions to Starcom Network, more precisely to Anthony Green, is what is the reason that this song is being barred from being played on the stations? Can you identify? Is it a legal issue? If it's a legal issue, again, identify what is the legal issue that's stopping the song from being played. Um, we the second thing that we did, apart from sending a formal letter to Starcom, is that we also put a very brief statement on our social media, just indicating that we are aware of the situation and that we are dealing with it formally. We have not, we would have sent off that email, that correspondence to Starcom Network Inc. This morning, and we have not received um, a reply from Starcom as yet. Uh, we 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 have, I can tell you, we have requested um, a response from Starcom within 7 days, and after 7 days, and there is no response, then we would take further action.
Yeah.
The reason why, to your
Mm-hmm.
second part of your question,
Yes.
the reason why we are supporting the announcer on this, the reason why we are taking a stand, the reason why there's pushback from the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists is that if we keep quiet and we stay silent, then it means that a precedent will be set for a song to be banned when there's nothing libelous about it, there's nothing defamatory about it. So that's why we are seeking clarification from Starcom as to why this song is banned. Because if there's nothing, if there's no legal issue, if they can't identify a legal issue, maybe there's something there that we are missing. But if there's no legal issue, then this censorship of artistic expression and freedom of speech, this is extremely concerning for us today. And what makes it even more concerning is that Ronnie Clark, we're not talking about the announcer now. Ronnie Clark is an employee of this same radio station, Starcom Network. What makes it even more interesting is that Admiral would have played this same song on CBC this morning, which means the song is not banned at CBC, but it's banned at Starcom. So I
All
mean,
right.
what's the explanation, what's the reason behind this? But for sure, we as an artists association, as the association that represents and defend the right of artists, we cannot allow this precedent to be set, because what would this mean for artists on the road? It cannot be the artist's opinion versus the radio station's opinion. You have to prove what is the legal issue that you have with this song for this song not being played. And that's pretty much our position on this issue at this
Yeah.
point.
So you're saying that the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists,
Mm-hmm.
that you guys have made a decision that you've written requesting from Starcom to know exactly what on what basis, right?
Yes.
That the song has been prohibited from playing on all of their stations,
Yeah.
and you've given them 7 days to respond.
Yes.
And you don't want this to be a precedence for the other artists, because you represent creatives and artists in Barbados. And
Yes.
Ronnie is and the announcer is a member of that association.
Yeah. And the thing is that it goes beyond, if this precedence is set, it goes beyond Calypso. It goes beyond Calypsonians. It could affect any of our members in the other disciplines. For me, to my mind, is actually quite similar to what happened to Praise Academy. There was censorship by the NCF. And what is the basis of the censorship? Right? As we all
Mhm.
know, it's currently a court case as it relates to Praise Academy. And we are asking the same question. What is the legal basis for this thing? If there's no legal basis, then play the song.
Yeah. That basically that is it. Play the song. Play the
Mhm.
song. What is the somebody here says we need to rally around the artists. What would you say to the public? What would the artists need from the public at this time? Sean.
Right. So you see, we tend to forget that we are the persons who should run the country. We give too much autonomy to the politicians. We give too much autonomy to the state entities, and we stay silent, and we accept and we accept and we accept. But we have power. We have a say. So the first thing that I would say to the public is that, let your voice be heard. You can call into the calling programs. There's two. There's brass stacks that happen from 10 to 2 every afternoon on the same station. And then there is a program that is dedicated to crop over and to calypso and to soak and to the arts that are involved in the festival, which is fireworks, again, on the same 92.9 station. So persons have an opportunity to actually call in and let their views be heard. People will say, well, Apache, you biased because you're the president of the Artists Association. Fine. But when the public is speaking and the public is saying what they don't like about the situation, what they expect to see in the situation, when the public is expressing their support for the artists, that goes a long way, because both the radio station depends on the public.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no listenership, then there's no advertising dollar. So the commercial consideration goes out the window if the public stops listening to the station. If there's an issue of integrity as it relates to the station, and the public stops listening to it, then they can't afford for that to happen. Secondly, as it relates to the competition of itself, the competition that the announcer is a contestant in, again,
Mm-hmm.
if the public does not come out and support the event, then where does that leave the NCF? So the public has a lot of power. The public has a lot of say. That's one. Those are two avenues that we've identified. You have brass tacks between the hours of 10 and 2, and then you have fireworks between the hours of 3 and 5:30. Those are two
Mm.
avenues where you can actually call in and let your voice be heard. Apart from that, persons can also write into the radio, to the newspaper, print media. So you can write letters to the editor, you at both Barbados Today and the Nation newspaper, and you share your views. So I'm not telling anybody what to write. I'm just saying these are outlets that are provided, that we have in this democracy, that we have in this republic, and this is things that we need to take opportunity of. So. Some of us, we will march from time to time as it relates to different things. That's one. That's another avenue that we can take. But we can also do the above: calling to brass tacks, calling to fireworks, write to the newspaper. You can even write to Anthony Green, the station manager at VOB. These are things that we need to do to keep democracy alive and to keep freedom of speech and freedom of expression alive. Because today it may be us, today it may be the artists, it may be us, including you, Marcia, as a creative, as
Mhm,
the director
mhm.
of Fraser Academy. Today is us. But what about the same public when they would want to say something in the future? And because these things were allowed to happen, then they don't have that freedom of speech. They don't have that freedom of expression. For us, it's artistic expression, but at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech, freedom of expression for all citizens of Barbados. So it's something that would affect us all.
Yeah, and very well said, Sean. And I'm reflecting on the announcer, because you and
Mhm.
I knew when the announcer went into crop over,
Yes.
before it became Carol over. When it was real crop over, we know when he
Yeah.
entered, and that I mean, he would have sung about almost everybody. He sang about TC. He
Yeah.
sang about different prime ministers. He sang about
Mhm.
the same Carol, the
Yeah.
NCF,
He,
the
yeah.
judging. I
Yeah.
mean,
He sang, he
he
sang,
sang
sang, sang about the church on two occasions,
the church. I mean, I
about
remember one
theology,
pastor. Yeah,
pastor
yeah,
offering.
that's Ronnie. One pastor
Yeah.
called me crying. A pastor called me crying.
Mhm.
That Ronnie was singing about him. He sang about it, and in 2007, if my memory serves me right, he
Mhm.
sang about her in Carol in 2007. But
Yes.
yet, I mean, there were no. What about weren't there any commercial consideration and any image of the client at that time?
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
interesting thing about it is that we are not on the scale. We are not clients on the scale of the NCF, but Shining Stars, Calypso, Julie, they're clients of Starcom as well. I hear them every week. There's a 15-minute program for Shining Stars. Barbados Association of Creative Artists, we are clients of Starcom as well. We ran ads for 2 weeks leading up to our tribute concert that was promoted on this show as well. So we are both persons with interest in this situation. We are all clients of Starcom as well. But
Yeah.
the thing is that we're not asking for anybody at Starcom to bend over backwards for us because we're clients. We're just saying we want what is just and fair for our constituent, which in this case is the announcer.
Yes, and because a lot of people, some people might think he just started singing and they don't want him to sing. No, he's been
Over
singing
20 years.
over 20 years. It
Over
would
20
have to be
years,
about
yes.
probably 22, 23 years,
Yeah,
that he has been singing and making it to the finals, and
yes.
so on. So, he even told us about a song that, I think we're still trying to find it, called,
Still
the
pray.
silent scream,
Hmm. About abortion.
about abortion.
Yeah.
And where, he was giving us this story last week, where there was a young lady who, was, she was pregnant at the moment, at that
Hmm.
particular time, in the listening to it in the tent.
Hmm.
And you know what, she decided she was having, two minds, between whether she's going to abort the baby or she's going to keep the baby. And
Hmm.
hearing him sing on such a controversial topic, because I'm sure there were women there that were upset that he was singing about that, but he
Yes.
was able to save the life of that particular baby, because that mother decided all those years. And he said that that child must be about 17 years old now and is alive.
Wow. Yeah.
So that we know, you and I know, that that is the announcer. The announcer jumps in the ring and he takes on all of these very, very controversial topics.
Topics, yeah.
You
And
know,
that song in particular, sorry to cross you, that song in particular is the one song that I remember from the announcer. There were many other good songs. There were songs that were witty, very, very witty, very cleverly written. This is one of the more serious songs that the announcer has ever done. And let me tell you, being there at Kensington when he sang that song, there was an absolute hush over the entire place when he was finished. There was a deafening silence. It was extremely powerful. In my opinion, the most powerful song presentation that the announcer has ever done on any stage in Barbados. Very, very powerful.
correct, correct, correct. And I think at this time, guys, I just want to, before I make that point I was going to make, I'm going to ask you to call. We have the number 236-7000, and feel free to call and to share your thoughts on it, because I think this is going to affect all of us. And I love the way Baka is handling this right out the blocks, not waiting, because if this happens with him, it can happen to any of us. It can
Yes.
even happen to a church. you know it could happen to anybody, really. So call, guys, 236-7000. It's 236-7000. Give us a call if you have. Okay, there's an incoming call. Just hold a second. Excuse me, guys. A minute, and feel free to call in and to share your thoughts on the matter. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia. Good night to the gentleman you have on the panel there.
Yes.
Very good
I
night.
didn't catch his name because I joined pretty late. What's his name?
Sean Carter, and he's the president for the Barbados Association of Creatives and Artists.
Okay, good. Yes, good night to you, sir. How are you doing?
Very good night and well.
Good. I just want to quickly say this just is another sign of the powers that be are trying to mute people from freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and their right to speak, be it in song or otherwise, and voice their opinion on matters or whatever the case may be that's going on presently in our island. The same way how they've tried to come to the cybercrime bill, they're trying it on another score. But I want to join with you, sir, and letting the announcer know that we all stand with him in this regard. We are not afraid, and we will not be silent, no matter what they do. I'm
Very good.
hoping that I wonder if they're going to try to ban classic song Spot the Light as well. I wonder if they're going to do that.
Well,
How much
they
more can
tried
they
that already.
play? When are they going to give up? 'Cause it's not going to work no matter what they try to do. So to the announcer, if he's listening, stand firm, my brother. Keep on doing what you're doing. The people are with you. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love how we spoke to the announcer. And so, when you're involved, Sean, in these kinds of things,
Mhm.
praise has been through this. It's not easy. Sometimes it feels like a very lonely road,
Right.
because some people assume that you have done the wrong thing. Luckily,
Yeah.
in this instance, his song was out there way
Before.
before
Yeah.
all of this happened, and people loved the song.
Yeah.
In our case, not a lot of persons heard our production until after I put it out. It went up to 20 something thousand views,
Yeah.
and people then said, really? you know but the artists do need support. So those of
Yeah.
you who can call in, and we can save all of these calls, if the announcer might be at rehearsals, if he's not listening, so that he can be encouraged. All right, so feel free to call. The number is on the screen. Go ahead and call. You were saying something, though, Mr. Carter,
Yeah.
concerning
I was responding to the comment that the caller made when he was saying that he hoped that they don't ban classic song. And classic song actually started in a similar position to what Rare Running song is. I think that the Marcia Week Show helped significantly in the decision making from the powers that be as it relates to
Mhm.
if classic song would have been allowed to be played on the radio or not. But at one point, for a very short period of time, classic song was banned as well at CBC. And again, it shows the that there is power in numbers. So when you let your voice be heard, then there is change, there is results. And this program and you, Marcia, and the loyal opposition has proven that time and again.
Time
So
again, yeah, the
once you
power of the,
speak,
because we told them, I had already alerted the police. I told them, if when we're going to have a march,
mhm,
right? We will have a march. If classic song was banned, we were going to have a march, and I would come on as often as I could, and I would tell them. I know they listen, and I called the police. I had the letter written, just waiting.
right,
Letters right there waiting. We had a date waiting, and I kept checking in to find out, did you hear from them yet? Did you hear from them yet? Because we were going to hit the streets, and they
right,
knew that, right? So then they had to come, and they had to let the song be played, and we are watching, and we're watching this scenario and
yeah,
determining, do we need to hit the streets concerning the song?
yeah,
We have, because this is important to freedom of speech, freedom of expression. This is
yes,
very,
yes.
very important.
And sometimes people miss that. People think that this is a crop over issue, it's a Starcom issue, it's a Baka issue, it's an artist issue. It's not. It is extremely concerning when you look at the freedom of speech, when you look at censorship, when you look at freedom of expression. It goes beyond, like I said before, artistic expression. One of the other reasons why, and this I'm sure, Marcia, this is something that you would have experienced and that the kids would have experienced as well, after receiving the ban from the NCF, the disqualification from the NCF, which is the impact that it has on the artists themselves. It can be extremely draining. So this morning, again, in conversation with Ronnie, I told him, as much as is possible, try to forget about this issue. Let us deal with it. That is why we are here. That is where you pay your fees to be a member of BACA. Let BACA deal with it. And that's why we're making sure that we dot every I and we cross every T and we go through the correct channels in dealing with it. So we're not rushing to the public with false information. We're not rushing to the print houses, to the media houses with false information. We firstly reach out to Starcom seeking clarification on exactly what is happening here, and to let them know that it cannot be open-ended, because while you are whatever is happening, the song is not being played, and this is disadvantageous to our constituent. This is disadvantageous to the announcer. So you don't want, as you said, I think it was last night when you came on for a short while, where you mentioned that the judging night for Shining Stars is on Monday the 14th,
Yes.
right? I could tell you, when you have when you have judging, when you have finals, especially as it relates to Calypso, it's a headspace that you need to get in. You don't need distractions like this. You need to, as brilliant as the announcer is, he's a human being. And the pressure of situations like this, and it's not just that your song is banned at a radio station, but this is your employer. This is where you work as well. So you are going back into the same
Yeah.
environment, right? Interacting with the same people that are banning your song, but you still have to remain focused because you have judging on Monday. And again, it's to that extent that we say to the announcer, let us deal with it. This is why you became a member of BACA. This is why we exist. This is what we are here to do. But again, Marcia, I know for you and for Praise Academy, you know the weight that you feel, you know the disappointment that you feel when you have put so much work and effort into expressing that thing that has come to you, and then for it to be suppressed, for it to be then, blocked in this way, prohibited in this way. It affects you as a human being.
Yes, it does. It does. I mean, a lot of our children and parents, up to the other day, some parents are still crying about it,
Yeah.
because it's a rejection of your work. You poured your heart and your soul.
Yes.
We have a caller, and I can tell the people who this is. This was Mr. Victor Young, who called me from last night and told me I want to speak on the program tomorrow. So, Mr. Victor Young, good evening.
Yes, good night to the guy who is there. I think he's doing a fantastic job.
Yes.
Thank
But
you.
I don't want to get too deep into this because my knowledge is not 100% following this calypso thing. But I must say, for all the time that I've been hearing the announcer, I can say he is a very serious competitor.
Mhm.
He is a very witty writer. He
Yes.
understands what calypso is about.
Yes.
But what I must say to you, that anybody who comes on your show, they will ban you because they believe they can shut it down by having people not to speak on it. But they must realize that this is not your show
Mhm.
alone. The Almighty has a hand in this show. And the Almighty is there, and the people who call the show